Great. Okay, to start off with, as an Australian who has worked all over the world, in like America, so that you worked for Universal and the British network Channel 4, what made you decide to take on the CEO role at the New Zealand Film Commission?
It's a combination of things, some personal and some professional. I look forward to the opportunity of working with creative talent in New Zealand who I've long been aware of.
Yeah.
Actually, that was probably the key reason.
Oh, okay, great. So, what direction do you intend to take the New Zealand film industry in to maintain its sustainability?
I think a key thing within the film industry here is to help people act locally and think globally, because it is a very small market.
Yeah.
And times are tough, have always been tough, but they're particularly tough now in economic conditions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, whilst our primary goal is to make films for New Zealanders, we have to keep one eye internationally at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I see. Well, that leads on to my next question, which is, with New Zealand being such a, a small, tight market, is it difficult for a Kiwi film to become, a big blockbuster like the ones in Hollywood?
I mean, it is much, much tougher. It's tough anywhere outside of Hollywood. I mean, there really is only one industry in the world, and that is Hollywood. We talk about the film business, but really the only business of film is where I lies, Hollywood and Bollywood.
Yeah.
But so the problem for New Zealand is twofold. It's a very long way away. So it's not, right in everybody's face. But primarily it's because it's a small place. So England obviously can have well above its weight because its history, its culture, its very large and successful television industry, which is a great training ground, and it has 65 million people.
Yeah, one of the key things. So you obviously have noticed a big difference in between Britain, America, and here in terms of the industry.
There is a big shift, and I think actually the biggest one would be, interesting. There is a wealth of creative people here, and I think that is why New Zealand has been able to bat above its weight over the years. But again, it really is what it comes down to is there's very few films that can get made here, so there's enormous competition and pressure on them. And even once they do get made, it's just purely the audience is very small.
Yeah, which sort of, I suppose, that limits the profitability of New Zealand films then, doesn't it? You can't make such a big profit if you've got a small market. Is there any other factors that would probably contribute to that?
The key one is that, as you say, that you can't really achieve profitability just off the domestic market, which you can in some other countries. And I think it's one of the really key reasons why the New Zealand Film Commission has to exist. In some places, these sort of semi-government bodies, the idea is that they're meant to help build an industry, and when they have done that, they can cease to exist, whereas realistically that is not an option here. Because there's very few films which will even travel globally. In fact, it was last year the most successful film in New Zealand film in New Zealand, The Second-Hand Wedding, which has not worked anywhere else. So it only works within the domestic territory. So you need something like a Whale Rider or World's Fastest Indian that translate into audiences around the globe to make real profitable.
So then, do you believe that co-productions are a key part to the continuation of the successful New Zealand film industry then?
I think they are, and I think they have two reasons. One, as we've been discussing, commercially, they're almost essential because it's very hard for producers here to put together a film to cover the full budget. Because we put in, we put in the bulk of the development money and then, a large chunk of production money. But they have to find additional market support to trigger out our money. So that, that can either be doing a sales or distributor abroad or finding someone to pre-invest. But an easier way, of course, is to do a co-production, a traditional co-production where you do have two producers of two countries involved. The downside to that is obviously that you've got to find things that work in both countries that are actually appropriate, rather than just sort of, there's a phrase we used in England called Euro pudding. That they get made just because they can get French, Dutch, Belgian, Spanish money.
I see. So how much of your role then involves attracting big budget productions from overseas to New Zealand to boost the home industry and provide ongoing work for film and post-production crews?
Part of our role here is to be New Zealand Film Inc., as it were. And so we're a very public face of New Zealand films. So even the films that we are not directly involved in, but we still, when we're out in the marketplace, so when we're in Cannes Film Festival or in Toronto, people will come to us and ask about Peter Jackson's movies, for example. So we see part of our brief to be the promoter and international face of New Zealand film.
So then, you've just recently got back from the Cannes Film Festival. Do you think that attending events like that are sort of key to boosting the industry in terms of publicity and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I mean, Cannes is, it's funny, a lot of people have a vision of Cannes as drinking rosé and lying on the beach. Or seeing movie stars in their finery. But really, that's one part of Cannes, but the real part that we exist in is the biggest film market of the year. All the buyers are there, many producers and distributors and exhibitors are there. So it's an opportunity for us to promote the films that we have completed or in post-production, to float the ones coming through and help our producers meet people who maybe can get involved with them, as we said, in co-productions or content. And again, obviously, just general things. So, Jane Campion had a film there this year, nothing to do with us. Obviously, it's a British film about Keats, funded by Pathé, a French company, and Screen Australia. But we still got a profile off it because obviously Jane is a New Zealander, and she referred to the fact that she had met me and was talking about doing a project back here in New Zealand for the first time since the piano.
Good. So does the, like you said there with Jane, does the relatively small budget available to filmmakers in New Zealand mean that we lose our talent to overseas industries?
I think more than the problem, more than the budget, is the number of films that can happen in a year.
I see.
There are 2 new grants the government's brought in recently that sort of do attract, give the ability for people to work here more. There's a large picture grant scheme and the Screen Producers Incentive Fund, and they were both brought in with the attempt to not confine directors and producers to making small movies. But as we only fund probably 4 to 6 a year directly, and maybe a couple more indirectly, that means not that many people can be working at once.
I see, Well, so I think we'll move on to a lighter question. What are the best perks then to being the CEO of the New Zealand Film Commission?
I guess I get to see pretty much all the stories, scripts, and certainly films that come out of New Zealand. So I think for a lot of people, they find people who are probably interested in film would love that part of it. I guess that's it, really. I do get to meet pretty much all the creative people who want to work in visual arts in New Zealand.
That's a pretty interesting job.
That's pretty good.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Graham. And
you're welcome, and good luck with the article, and good luck with the course.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, bye now.